little snags with one of our databases. It's still asking for a password, even though they don't really understand why, and they hadn't been able to fix that, but I can help you out with that. So if you go to ClassLink, I'm going to show you I'm going to show you, basically just run you very quickly through our databases. The first thing I want to show you is just Follett. So if you go back to your ClassLink homepage where you see all the icons, there's one called Follett Destiny LTI. And I'm not sure if we had this last year by the time you came to me. The deal with the LTI is that it's a single sign-on. It's allowing you to just click that button and it knows who you are as long as you go through ClassLink, and so you're already signed in. So what I want you to do is find that little icon that says Follett. It has a white background, has like a little flame on it. One side is orange and one side is blue. Are you in the right spot, baby? I don't know where. You just go to your ClassLink homepage.
Oh, it's on.
And get out of that. Right there. You're gonna find it. There it is. Follett. Okay. Now Follett is our Follett Destiny is our card catalog. And now the reason I'm showing you this is for a couple of things. Because we're in the midst of the COVID pandemic right now, you can't just come in and browse the books. But you can do several things, and the wonderful thing about this is you no longer have to be in the library in order to do it. If you click there, you notice a couple of things. First of all our Salem Press titles are there at the top. You used to have to go to a separate sign in to get there. They are right there. I don't know if any of those will help you. Most of those are historical titles, but there are some critical analysis of different works. Now, whether it will be what you're working on or not. And there's also a set, let me pull the book itself, that kind of deals with criticism from different perspectives. So there's multicultural, moral, feminist, psychological, and that's just kind of a general overview of those critical analysis styles, I guess, for lack of a better word. So that may help you.
Teachers, part of this interruption, report cards were given out based on first semester homeroom classes. So at this point, please release all of your students that have any change to go to their first semester, first period.
Okay, that's no one in here.
No, but I do have a couple of folks coming, so I'll take care of that.
Okay. All right, so the deal about the Salem Press, it doesn't require any username and password. If you enter through here, you just click on the book and it takes you directly to the book. They are multi-user. As many people can use them as possible, and you don't have to obviously be here, although we do have physical copies of every one of these books. That's the first thing I wanted to show you. Now, if you go up to the top, you're going to see two tabs, and one is going to say catalog, and the other one's going to say home. And this is obviously your home page. So click on the catalog tab really quickly. So you can search for your topic then in Destiny and click on usually subject for you. But if you know there's a specific title, you can click on title, but usually it's subject at this point. And then you can see if any titles in the library come up that pertain to your topic. I know we purchased quite a few things about Huckleberry Finn, so if you're working on Huckleberry Finn, we do have quite a few library titles here that might interest you. We also have The Great Gatsby, but y'all do that one.
We do later in the year.
Gatsby, some of the other assigned titles we have work for. Have you not been able to find it? Okay, scroll down just a little bit. Okay, you're looking, keep going. Okay, there it is, right there. If you also search by topic, you can just type in right now Huckleberry Finn. Just do that so that I can show you the next step. All right, so in order to get a book from the library, if you select any title there on Huck Finn and you decide that you want to check it out from the library, if you click on the title itself, go ahead and just click on one. You're gonna see a button to the right that says hold it. Okay? So just click on your title. That's a video. Okay, it won't let you hold videos. And if you click hold it, it sends a message to me on my computer that says, hold this book for you. And what I do is I simply go and pull it, check it out to you, put it by my computer at the front, and on your way out of school or anytime you walk by here, you just pick it up and you have it for 3 weeks. Okay? So that's how you request a book. And again, that doesn't have to be done here at school. When you're at home and you have some time and you're trying to do your research and you see a title that you want, just click hold it, and the next day I'll pull it for you and I'll have it ready, checked out to you. All you have to do is simply walk by, pick it up, and go about your merry way. Okay? So that's how we, and then if you want to just read fiction, if you're missing checking out books from the library and you want to do that, that's the way you do it. You just click hold it, I get the message, and I check it out to you.
As in Book Talk books. Yes. All right.
Okay. All right, notice now that when you have gone and you've gotten your list, go back to your list of books. Or audiovisual, the list of all the stuff that we have on Huckleberry Finn. Notice over to the right, there it says books, but it also says websites. You see that? In the top right, you've got titles, websites, one search. Just click websites. Okay? So if you're looking for good, vetted, educationally sound sites, here they are. And they're already attached to your document or whatever it was that you were searching for. And you'll notice that they have them broken out by grade levels. And so if something is K through 3, obviously that's not something that you need. But sometimes the 6 through 8 stuff is good. And then there's also 9 through 12.
And just to clarify for my kids at home, this is Follett. This is under Follett.
Follett Destiny LTI. It is an icon that is on your ClassLink homepage.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So that you can get, that is our card.
That website, that's something I don't think we had that last year. So that's kind of, if we did, we didn't talk about it.
Okay.
So that would be an exception to just doing like a regular old Google search. I told y'all could not do that. But if it's linked through Follett, that would be acceptable. Okay.
Okay. And it's, we pay obviously for this service. They then in turn pay people to actually go out and look at these sites, vet them, make sure they are good, make sure that they are reliable sites.
Do y'all know what it means to vet something? To vet something means that it's been checked out by someone who knows what they're doing. Okay?
So you're always safe using a site that you find through Follett Destiny. Okay? All right, so that's the first thing I wanted to show you and go over how to.
Y'all might want to open up some notes
during the COVID crisis
and jot some of this stuff down.
Hoping soon we'll be able to check out normally. But,
yes.
But that is available to you, and you can do that for any book. It doesn't have to just be for your research project. All right, if you'll go back to your ClassLink homepage now. The first thing I want to take you to is the Gale group. And what you'll see, it should say just Gale Databases CEB. And CEB is CEBIRD. Okay? Now, if it asks you for a password here, the password is Louisiana, all lowercase, obviously one word, okay, all lowercase. And I think if you do it one time, it won't ask you again. But if it does, it's very easy to remember that it's Louisiana, but it just doesn't have the uppercase L. Now, once you're here, you're going to see multiple databases. For those of you who are doing civil disobedience and you want to tie it to, say, the Black Lives Matter movement or some other civil rights movement, my suggestion for you would be to go to the Opposing Viewpoints database. So you have access to everything that you see there, but if you will click on the Opposing Viewpoints, are you not finding it? Or are you already there? Opposing Viewpoints, just scroll down until you see Opposing Viewpoints. It only contacts Opposing Viewpoints, okay? And then you would just search for your topic, okay? You can do advanced searching, but I think for you, at this point, if you're just doing Black Lives Matter, you're gonna get all of that stuff. Go ahead and type in civil disobedience for me, and let's see what happens.
Wow, looks like there's a lot.
Okay.
So guys, if you do civil disobedience, you may have to narrow to, okay, am I gonna talk about the civil rights era? Am I gonna talk about like contemporary issues? You know, you're gonna have to figure out a way to narrow that topic a little bit, okay? Because you're ultimately writing a paper about this, and you don't want your paper to be all over the place, and you don't want it to be like 12 pages. I don't want it to be 12 pages, okay? So think about ways to narrow as well.
And I'll show you some of that, but first the thing that I'm most interested in to show you right now is that when you pull up any topic, the first thing you're gonna get is an overview. And the overview topic is very nice to read to kind of begin to narrow down the topics that you're looking at, because it will cover all of the sort of most recent events or happenings or the issues that are involved in whatever topic it is. So the overview is the very first thing that you see there, and it is always a nice place to get started, okay? It's almost like the Wikipedia, I guess, of Gale. It just kind of gives you an overview of your whole topic, and from there you might be able to pick interesting things or topics that you're interested in. All right, if you will, you'll notice over to the right on that page, it says filter your results. So if you are not interested in, say, or say you only want journal articles, you would be able to go to filter your results there and then click some of those filters, and then it will take out other things that you are not interested in, okay? So if you don't want newspaper articles for whatever reason, you're only interested in, then you can just click and it'll filter by that. Or if that's all you want, you can do it that way too.
And I'm thinking that the journal articles are going to be the way to go. So you may want to just go ahead and filter it with that as it is, okay? The other thing is, oh goodness, I just lost my train of thought. What was it? Oh, you've got to make sure that the articles you select, when you get into them, if there is not a way to access the full article, I don't know, maybe Gale offers only full articles, but I think that might even be a filter.
Yeah, it usually is. They've pretty much gotten out abstracts, but every great once in a while you'll hit something that is only an abstract, which means it just tells you what the article is about and then suggests that you go and look at it somewhere else. Which obviously we can't do unless you're really, really into your topic, and you could go to, and some of you are dual enrollment, so you quite possibly, if you found just the perfect article and it was only an abstract, then you might check your ability to use is it TEC?
It is TEC.
Okay, TEC has sent them, I guess, the ability to access their database?
Well, they haven't sent it through me, but they may have sent them something directly.
Okay. Not sure, but very often when they're dual enrollment students,
Mhm.
you have access to the college databases as well.
I suspect for my dual enrollment kids that if you tried to get into the tech website in their library, the student ID that they've assigned to you would work, but you would have to look and see if they've sent you that information. I don't have it handy, so.
All right, I know that Mr. Larry's folks have done that before, and they
Yeah.
were able to access when they were doing with LSUS.
Yes.
They were able to access that. So that's a possibility, and if you have any trouble doing that, just come by and I'll help you individually, because it'll just take a little bit of work for us to be able to figure out how we do that. But that is absolutely a possibility for you. All right, so that's opposing viewpoints in context. Notice there's a couple of things that you need to notice in the very top right. First of all, once you click on, go ahead and just click on an article, I don't care which one. And notice they've got them listed out. They tell you how many viewpoints they have, how many magazine articles they have. They have all of that listed. So just choose an article in one, okay? And then notice in the top right, you've got some options there. And one of those options is called Send To. If you click Send To, if you're not signed into your Google, it's going to ask you to. If you've signed in to ClassLink through Google, it knows the Google. Okay, it's okay. You've signed in already. What you want to do is, well, this is up to you, but you can send your article to your Google Drive. It's going to send the entire article. It's going to send the bibliographic information. If you had made highlights and notes on it, it's going to send that. So you can send all of that to your Google Drive. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, that prevents you from having to come back over and over and over again and trying to find the particular article that you want in the Gale database. You already have it. And it just sends it to a file in Google Drive. Most of the time it creates a folder that says opposing viewpoints, and then every article that you send goes to that folder on your Google Drive, and then from now on you just go to Google Drive, you open up your folder, and then there are all your articles that you sent.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and say do that, okay? Because you can't, you just have no idea how many folks do the research and then figure out that they forgot to do that step, and they got to go back into Gale and find that article from scratch, and it just slows down the process, okay? So when you find something that's promising, you go ahead and automatically send it and start that folder.
Yeah, and that's just a way, and almost all of our databases allow you to do that, so a lot of people find that helpful. Notice there is a highlight and notate. You can highlight anything. It will also read the document aloud for you if you want it read aloud.
Pretty cool.
It will also translate it into languages if you needed that. Okay, most of you don't need that, but we do have some students who need to do that. So you see your highlight and your notes. You see where you can send to. You see the little cite button. Click on the cite button. It will give you MLA8 citation for your article. Okay. And you can copy and paste that citation and use it. Yes, ma'am?
Does Follett do that too, or is it just Gale that does that, the site?
Follett websites, that's a good question. And off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
I think
But
Follett
try it.
also gets things like books, and I don't
Yeah, it
know.
wouldn't do it for the books.
I don't know if it would do it for the books.
It's not do it for the books, but maybe if you go to the websites, I'm just not sure if there's a citation thing there or not. That's not really Follett's thing. It's not a database per se,
Oh.
and so I'm not 100% certain.
Guys, you make sure that you also open a separate Google Doc just to put your citations in, okay? And as you find an article that looks good, you go ahead and copy the citation into that database. That way you're not worried about having to format that from scratch, when it comes to putting the annotated bib together, you're just going to be alpha sorting those, alphabetically sorting them by the last name of the author, okay? And then make sure that, you know, the formatting looks like that sample that I gave you with reverse indents and all that good stuff, okay?
The only thing that I've noticed sometimes is when people copy and paste, it will highlight it. And I think that's to keep you from basically claiming it, you know, as, you know. But there is a way, a feature that we can do, and I can't remember exactly what it is, and we can take that away.
Yeah.
But it won't come in that nice indented format, even when you copy and paste it. It won't come like that. You will have to.
You're going to have to manually put your reverse indents in other words.
You will. And that's another little neato trick. If you don't know how to do it in Google, it's a little complex. If you don't know, but once you do know, it makes absolute sense. But I'll show you that, or I'll show Miss.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of using the rulers, right?
It is. It's the little ruler thing. There's kind of a square and a triangle. And what you do is you highlight your entire citation. Usually it's easier just to highlight the entire page once you've got it done. And you're going to pick up both that square and the triangle and move it over 5 spots. And then you're going to click on just the triangle and move it back.
Yeah, I'll show. If you remind me, we'll play with it tomorrow.
Yeah.
When we're back in class, okay?
So it's once you know how to do it, but it's not self-explanatory. I mean, that who would even have thought that? But it'll fix it right up for you, and it's very easy. Okay. Another thing too is if you have to do it in Times New Roman.
I mean, I prefer Times New Roman. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say that it comes over, I want to think, is it Arial that Google likes so much? And so you have to, very often, you'll have to highlight it and change the font. Just be aware of that. You may or may not have to do that, but that's something to check. It'll tell you when you bring it over what font it is. Sometimes you'll notice it changed to Times New Roman.
If y'all remind me tomorrow, I'll show you the difference
too. These are
too.
all just kind of sorting things, but just to know. I just don't know what tech requires, and if it's.
I mean, I like Bird itself. You know, asks for Times New Roman for all their materials. So
just be aware that that's something that you would probably have to do if you're copying and pasting over to Google. All right, so that is, all the Gale databases work exactly the same way. If you'll go back, there is a literature database here. So just go back to that search page for Gale. And there is, scroll down for me. There's a literature resource center that will help you. And if you're doing civil disobedience, you can also look at the American history one. Or perhaps you might even look at the world history, say if you were working on civil disobedience in India or something like that. I don't know if that's allowed. But anyway.
It is. I'm open to that.
There are, so there are several options within that Gale database that I think will help you. And they all work exactly the same way. They have the same features. They have topic finders, like they'll say you may also be interested in, and you can go through there. So it is a wonderful database, and I think they do a real good job getting it kind of self-explanatory for students. It's one of my favorite databases. It's the reason that we kept this and let EBSCO go. But I
was wondering what happened with EBSCO.
But I am going to tell you about how you can get to EBSCO if you want to. All right, so let's take a look now at Bloom's. So if you go back to your Class 1 homepage, there's an icon there that is called Infobase. Okay. Now, another thing that Infobase has in it besides Bloom's is our ebook database. And we have about 7,000 books in that database. They are all nonfiction. And we have lots of critical analysis within that database. Those books are all multi-user. Every single person can access the book. You don't check them out. You just read them right there online. They also have a citation thing, so that it's very easy to get this citation. All right, so if you will click on that icon that says info base, I believe it's blue, light blue with kind of a pyramid looking thing on it, okay? And when you click there, it's gonna say, it's gonna ask for username and password, but it should go through, you should get that little Making Magic Happen, which is your ClassLink deal. If you've never used it before, you may have to authorize it. But if you cannot get past and it's still asking for a username and password, the username is BirdHS, all lowercase, all one word, BirdHS. And then the password is Yellow Jackets, all one word, all lowercase. And once you enter that once, you should never have to do that again, okay? And you'll notice that we have 3 databases. Bird is the only school in Caddo Parish who has these databases. We pay for them, and we are just fortunate to be the largest school in the parish, and so we actually have the monies to do it. Other schools are begging for this. They're begging, but so far the library tech people have not been able to afford it for them. So y'all are very fortunate in this. Okay, Blooms is amazing. I cannot tell you how wonderful the Blooms database is. It has all kinds of critique, and you can narrow it down. Of course, you can tell it you just want literary criticism. It has movies. It has, and of course there are not any famous movies, but I mean it's literary based movies. But my favorite feature in this is how to write about. And so if you're struggling to find that thesis statement, or you're struggling to find a topic that you really, or how to find one, if you search the how to write about Huckleberry Finn, it's gonna be there. How to write about Thoreau's Civil Disobedience, it's gonna be there. All right, so let me show you how to get there. So if you'll click on Blooms for me. For it to come up here. Across the top, you have some options usually. Hers is taking a little while, so I'm gonna come over here and try not to breathe on y'all. If you go to where it says Curriculum Tools, okay, you'll see it tells you how to cite sources. It's got all sorts of information there just about writing a paper. So how to write the research paper, what is plagiarism, how to evaluate online sources, that sort of thing, okay? Look at search options for you. This is where you can do an advanced search if you want to. So instead of just saying civil disobedience, if you want to say civil disobedience and Black Lives Matter, or civil disobedience and Gandhi, or whatever, that will narrow it down, and that's where you're going to do it at search options.
Guys, if you're doing something specific to Huck Finn, like Tom Sawyer's role in Huck Finn, or Huck's rejection of society, or the symbolism of the river, that's where you would narrow your search. You wouldn't want to look at everything that's written about Huck Finn. You would do the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and River, or the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, and Society, okay? Or satire.
It's kind of counterintuitive. When you use the word and, it actually narrows your search down. Because what it does is it says, I want only the documents that say this and this. And so what it does is look for those 2 terms and narrows your search returns to you. If you want to broaden your search, like you did that, and you only got like 2 things back, and that wasn't it, you would use the word or. You would say Huckleberry Finn or the symbolism of the river. Or will broaden your search. It's going to give you back everything that says either this one, or both together. Okay? So it's counterintuitive and narrows your search, or makes it bigger.
Some of y'all are looking at Huck Finn and his transcendental ways. So you would do the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Transcendentalism, and civil disobedience. Okay? again, this is kind of like fishing. You don't know what bait you're going to throw out there to catch what you want, but you got to try a lot of different things.
Yeah, and it's a skill. It's a skill like everything else, learning how to narrow down your sources. There's also an option of not. And we don't use that a lot here because most people want more rather than less, but not will exclude certain things. You probably would not want to do that on this particular topic, but we have had some history topics in the past where we were searching and we would get all sorts of things that were, I'll give you an example. When we did George Mason one year, we typed in George Mason, we got Masons, stuff about the Masons, we got stuff about George Mason University, we got, so we had to say not George Mason University, not Masons, not, you know, and then that allowed us to get just stuff about George Mason. So not is useful if you find that you're getting stuff that doesn't really quite pertain to your topic. It's kind of tangential to your topic. You can get rid of some of that.
May I make one more comment? So my seniors, and you know, once you've had my class, I consider you mine. My seniors have come back to me this year. They're researching literary topics, and they had forgotten about Bloom's. And I was like, no, don't forget about Bloom's. And I had to show them again how to use it. So, you know, play around with this stuff and try to remember how you access it, because you may not get this kind of background next year when you go to research. Okay? So just keep in mind what we talk about. You may even want to take some notes that you can refer back to later on, much later on if you need to.
And of course, you can always just drop by here and
Yeah,
say,
absolutely.
when you said something and I don't remember where it is. Okay? So if you look under Browse there at the top, that's where you're going to see that How to Write About. And you can just click on that and go through How to Write About. And that is truly, truly helpful to high school students who are still, like I said, struggling a little bit with what it is exactly they'd like to say, or maybe a topic that they're trying to find. So all of that is there. Again, once you get to an article, you're going to have that option. So go ahead and let's come down. Let's look at, so let's just click on Zora Neale Hurston right there. She's at the top. Just click on that. All right, as you see, then under the reference, criticism, literary works, images, or video. So if you just want criticism, you're just going to click on criticism, and then it's going to narrow down only your topics, only the articles that are criticism. All right, but let's just go ahead and click on the first article there, because I just want to show you where you find your citations and that sort of. All right, again, across the top, you can print the article. You can save it if you click save. Don't sign in. Oh, you can sign in with Google and you can send it to Google, but I think there's one that says, do me a favor, come here and click share for me. Click share to you and see what happens. Yeah, well, we only let you share to Google Classroom, so that's not gonna work out for us. I thought you could share straight to Google Classroom. But if you save, you can save to Google Classroom. It does let you sign into Google. You see the citation there. It will read aloud to you. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a button that says Save to Drive right there.
There you go. That's what y'all want.
Save to Drive. And it's going to ask you to sign in to your Google, and you just save it straight to your Google Drive. All right, so you can do that here as well. All right, if you'll just kind of go back to the Bloom, not the Bloom, but the, just the InfoBase databases. I just wanted you to notice that you have also your ebook. And the interesting thing about the ebooks, you read them online. If you want to print something, like there was something you needed to print, it depends on the publisher, but usually you can print up to 99 pages of the work.
Wow.
Okay, it's going to keep up with how many you do. It's it's going to you're going to have to tell it, I want pages 1 through 10, and it's going to remember that you already printed 10 of them. But you can usually print up to 99. You can also share documents. You can do all that kind of stuff there as well. All right. So InfoBase,
What about Salem Press? Is that gonna be something helpful to
But
them?
that's the Salem Press, that's what, we ran across that when we did, the Follett.
Okay,
Because Salem Press.
so it's integrated.
It's now integrated.
Okay.
If you just click on it, it'll take you directly to, those. We had been using Salem Press, at first it had been a separate thing, but then they sent me an option to put it on my homepage.
Mhm.
And so now all you have to do is click on the title, it pulls up the book there from the homepage of Follett, which is very, very nice. So you don't have to do one more database, one more thing. Although if you do go there, it's just Bird HS and Yellow Jackets, and you can go straight in that way. All right, let's go back now to our ClassLink homepage. And I think I have shown you everything I want you to see there. The other thing is, how do you get into EBSCO? Okay, if you still want to use EBSCO. If you have dual enrollment with Tech and you are able to use their databases, I would suggest simply going through their databases to get to EBSCO. That will be the easiest thing for you. However, if you do not, I want you to go into your search bar and I want you to type Louisiana State Library. You can access these through the public library website also, but we're just going to go to the Louisiana State Library. Should just be in your search. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said not your search bar for the Blooms, but or any of the databases, but your normal search. Okay. And once you get to the website, let me see what you're going to pick. It's right up here. Go to electronic resources in the top right. Okay. And then you'll see a list. And if you do the statewide databases, I believe, and you scroll down, you should see EBSCO. Okay, just kind of scroll down the page. You should see EBSCO. Okay, State Library of Louisiana. And then in this top right, when it comes up, you're going to see electronic resources. All right, now here, very often, you can just go straight in to EBSCO. Okay, you see it? EBSCO host, it says. See if you can go straight in and open it up.
Let you.
If you can, great and wonderful. Okay? You can use any of the databases there. And there is a literary database. There is also that, I think in the list, it may be in that Twain's series, TWAYNES, I think. That's also a literary criticism set. So if it lets you and you can go straight in, yay.
I'm not seeing the literary, but it should be in there. Keep looking for
there,
literary.
they also
And then
have
Twain's
the
database.
citation button where you can get the citations. They have all of that stuff. They're just like, you can send it to Google Drive also. You'll have to sign in, blah, blah, blah. All of those options are there. If you have trouble, some people can get it here, and when they go home, they have trouble. If you have a library card with the public library, it will ask for your library card number, and you would just enter that. However, if you do not have one, your student ID is a library card now. Okay? The only hitch to that is there are a certain set of numbers that you have to use in addition to your barcode number, and I have those numbers, but and I can get them to Miss Parker. I will. I'll tell her how you can do it. It's actually on my when I made a thing for Canvas for the library, if you put it into your Canvas, it tells you how to do it there. But you do have to call the public library and get a PIN number.
So we're going to be doing research all this week.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion would be to, if you're going to look at EBSCO, to do that at school, so you don't have to worry about all that other stuff.
And it may work
okay?
perfectly well at home. Just try it at home. Some people have no trouble, but then some people do, and it may be exactly where they're living in the parish. There's no rhyme or reason that I have discovered. But if it lets you through, it lets you through. If it doesn't, like I had a student last year who could get it here. When she went home, she couldn't. She had to use the public library number, and then she was able to access it. Okay, so good luck trying to figure that one out. But there are also several others. Like I said, that Twain, they have the entire Twain series in that. What is it? TWAY or something? NES. It's a whole series of criticism, and that's there on that that library, Louisiana Library site. Anything else there that is helpful, you can browse through, and you can use anything there. Just because you are a citizen of the state of Louisiana. Now, on the left-hand side, those are parish-specific ones, and again, it may let you access those, and it may not. But most of that is like genealogy and stuff, and that's obviously not what you're doing, so I wouldn't worry about that as much, but the statewide databases you can. I don't think World Book will really help you that much on this, so we're not going to cover World Book, although they do have some good ebooks and things like that. I don't think that will help you.
Google Scholar is something y'all have asked me you could look at, but sometimes they ask you to pay for the articles, and I would really hate for you to have to pay for articles. So
yeah, I don't spend a lot of time with Google Scholar. I myself have never found it to be that helpful for this level of research. I think that if you were actually trying to get the history of research in your topic and that sort of thing, because what Google Scholar does very often is it lists books where your topic is mentioned, and it never gives you the entire article, or it never gives you the entire book. It just gives you a little section, so that if you were trying to research the history of scholarship on your topic, that would be very useful. But not for what they're doing today. And also that almost all cases, it's an abstract. Very rarely do you actually get a whole book or a whole article or something like that. Their whole deal is to kind of have that knowledge out there, and then you can go get it somewhere else. An abstract is a summary. Yeah, it's just a little bit, or they just give you an example of the page or whatever, and you might get a little bit something from that, but I haven't found it to be extremely helpful for us. But you are always welcome to search it and just see what you get. There's something else called WorldCat, and it's worldcat.org, and you create an account on WorldCat. And we do this with the AP people because they do have to have a little bit more than just say that. They really have to show that they've gone back and studied the ideas and that sort of deal. WorldCat.org, what it does is you search for your topic, and it's going to give you books, maybe journal articles, and sometimes it has the entire journal article, and that's awesome. But most of the time what it's doing is telling you that the book that you're looking for is in a library at Centenary, or it's in a library at LSUS, or it's at the Tech Library, and then you would know where to go. But it will tell you things like, literally, if the book you're looking for, the closest library to you is in Paris, France, it will tell you. So that's what WorldCat does. Again, at this level, I'm not sure that you're going to need that. Probably don't need to worry about that. You're going to find plenty of databases, sources in the database. This is an annotated bib, and they have 6 sources that they need. So yeah, you're going to be fine. But I will encourage you, we do, like I said, we do have a lot of books here on these assigned